Welcome everybody. Thank you again for joining us. Today, we're going to give you what I hope to be a very exciting webinar. I'll introduce myself. I'm Brad Kugler, the CEO and co-founder of Direct Mail 2.0. I have my VP Sales here, Morgan DeGiorgio, and she is tried and trusted and knows all about mail and marketing and has very quickly become quite a subject matter expert. And Jim Richards, who is the USPS National Political Mail Strategist. I have to admit, this is our first meeting, but we were chatting beforehand, and he's joining us from Texas. And we want you guys to be involved. We want you to ask a lot of questions. I'm going to kind of be the MC, and I'm going to monitor the chat and the raise hand. And I'll be, I guess for lack of a better word, I'll be interrupting them and the presentation when needed to ensure everybody stays engaged and interested. So I'll start throwing the tomatoes if it gets boring too. So, but it'll come in the form of a question or an interruption. But I won't take up any more time. I'm going to let Morgan get started, and over to you, Mo. Do your thing.
Thanks, Brad. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions throughout the webinar, please just pop them in the chat, and hopefully Brad will get to them and hammer those out before we get to the end. Otherwise, we will open it up for Q&A at the end. This is not my first interaction with Jim. Very knowledgeable about political mail, and I'm very excited to actually have him join us today. Just in my conversations with him, he's so knowledgeable in the political mail and the political campaign space, and he has a ton of knowledge and education to provide us with today. So we're going to actually kick that off with him. But primarily what our webinar today is about is political campaigning and the utilization of one of the most prolific marketing channels in the political campaign space, which is direct mail. And then, since we know that direct mail is a tried and true and trusted marketing channel in the political campaign space, how do we make that even better, right? How do we increase the results and the response that we're getting from our political mail campaigns? And so Jim is really going to talk to us a lot about how we do that, the power of mail, how we enhance it, share a ton of data with us about some white papers that USPS has undertaken. Just to speak to the fact that if we have any of our existing, partners on the call today, a little bit about Direct Mail 2.0, just real briefly, we have a suite of different products that specifically enhance the direct mail marketing channel, right? To improve the response to the direct mail and also to help track historically what has been an offline marketing channel. And so one of our products is geared towards political campaigns specifically, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So we do offer an opportunity for print and direct mail service providers to license our product so that they can pass along value to their existing direct mail customers and enhance their mail and get their clients better results on their mail. We've really got this down to a science, and our entire company is really geared towards making direct mail the most valuable marketing channel that there is. So, to any of our existing partners on the call today, or anybody that might be interested in becoming a partner, anyone that, provides political direct mail campaigns, there's a ton of dollars that are going to be spent on political marketing, right? So there's a lot of opportunity out there, right? There's a lot of opportunity, and there's opportunity for you to go out and acquire more political mail if you have products and services where you can set yourself apart from other direct mail service providers and add more value to these political mail campaigns. Now, for anybody on our webinar today that is a political campaign manager, a political candidate, someone that is running their own campaigns, we're going to talk about how you can utilize your marketing dollars in some of the most effective ways possible to drive results as inexpensively as possible. So a lot of opportunity here, and I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Jim. He's going to lead the way with talking about the entire foundation of the political campaign, and that starts with mail. So Jim, over to you.
And so you can hear me loud and clear, Morgan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. I've been selling political mail probably for the last 12 years. And it seems lately, typically we would really get our focus in the mid-year, the presidential year. But, what I've seen now is political is a season that lasts every year, all year long. That first slide where we talked about the 2022 political ad spend is already rivaling what was done in the 2020 presidential election. As a matter of fact, in 2018, that was the first time that midterm spending outspent a presidential election year. And we're on track to do the same thing this year. Attended 2 conferences in the last month, both digital and mailing related. And all the folks in the room were saying the same thing. They are seeing more revenue spend now with them than they did in the presidential season. And, it's not the big races. There's plenty of those out there, but the local races are starting to show up more than they ever have before. And as we look at some of the research that we always conduct post-election, so we've been doing post-election surveys, analysis, well before 2016. And so one of the things that we saw after 2020 was voters really want to connect with candidates, with issues. Because if you think about what happened in 2020, because of the start of COVID and other concerns, that was really the first year that you had so much vote by mail. You had all these different voting alternatives than just the general election. And it seemed like campaigns before, what they strove to do was, hey, let me make it on election day, but you can't do that anymore. You've got to start planning out way before election day because there's early voting, there's absentee voting, and connecting and educating your voters is essential. So if we'll go to the next slide, we'll talk about what some of that research revealed. Over on the right, you can see that two in three Americans trust direct mail versus other sources. And it's not saying don't use other sources. I believe in a omni-channel approach to campaign advertising. I mean, you need to reach people where they're at. But one of the things that mail adds to that campaign mix is believability. So it's a great way to educate. I mean, it's physically in your hands, it's in your face. And I know in our home, we kept all of the, and again, I'm here in Fort Worth, Texas. And so we just had our primaries that ended in May. And my wife and I just collected all of the mail pieces over a 2-month period, just in a local school board election. I'd gotten 20 mail pieces from one candidate. I have never seen a local race with that much mail. But, I think we're more politically engaged than we've ever been. So regardless of where you are at in the country, no matter how blue or red or purple it could be, people are definitely paying attention politically to what's going on. Even political consultants were saying, man, mail brought, again, that believability and that factual information I needed to communicate to my voters. When it talks about educating voters, one of the things that I thought was really interesting was here in Texas, we actually had in Houston, over 30,000 ballots could not be counted because they were absentee ballots and they didn't have a second signature on them. One of the things that happened during COVID, depending on what state you were in, they had different rules during a COVID emergency. And as soon as COVID ended, state by state, it reverted back to original, let's say, absentee ballot rules. Well, in this county in Texas, people didn't really pay attention to that. So my question is, how do you educate? Well, mail is a great way to do that. So educating voters who might use absentee ballot frequently, again, remember to get that second signature, remember to get it in by this date. Those type things mail has some great power for. We'll go to the next slide. So mail's not only great in building trust, but it also reinforces your other forms of communication. So 2 in 3 Americans said that the mail they received helped reinforce the TV ads or the online ads they had put out there. So let it be used to leverage your digital approaches. I call the physical of mail and the digital of our other channels kind of the phygital world. So to be a part of that phygital world, you need to tie these things together. So I know at our house, you know, we organized our mail in different stacks, and for those candidates that we wanted to find deeper information about where they stand on certain issues, we went online, we went to their different other digital channels to learn more about them. So if we'll go to the next screen, please. And, you know, campaign managers talking about it's smart to integrate your direct mail with your other tactics. And we'll definitely see, you know, from Direct Mail 2.0, those opportunities that all the multiple ways that mail can be used to tie those different channels in together. Next one, please. So, you know, if you think about mail, the different things that you could use, QR codes, for instance. I know on a couple of the mail pieces I had, the QR codes told you, you know, when the early voting was, you know, go here to find out where your early voting location would be. I haven't voted on election day in 10 years. I'm one of those early voters. So I'm constantly looking to see when that window is so I can make sure I take advantage of it. If you go to the next one, please. Now, again, we've thrown out a lot of statistics, and I could probably go on for an hour or more just talking about the different statistics or things that we see make a difference, you know, in the last several elections and what we see moving forward. Our deliverthewin.com website is a resource. It's open to everybody, and it's where we house all of our latest research. So the things that we're seeing make a difference. For example, 3 new items that you see on there. We have some direct mail videos that are really interesting on how is political mail different versus bots? How is it different versus Facebook or social media? Our direct mail effect with voters was done after the 2021 Virginia election, and that one was highly contested. So that was the one that Governor Youngkin had, you know, pulled out a victory when it didn't seem like he was going to be able to. So there was a lot of great insight that we gathered that on demographics, on ages, you know, sexes, ethnicities, what made a difference in that election and could we learn from it? And we have a series of demographic profile sheets. This one's out now. We have one coming out on Black voters. We've got Hispanic voters, female voters. So all these different categories that if you're a candidate or you're working with one who's able to identify what their constituents look like or the voters that they want to tap into, we've got a lot of great information to help you make that argument. So I encourage you to visit our website if you wanted to reach out to myself or any of our team that does political mail. The contact page on our website leads directly to us. So we see that several times a day. So if you wanted to reach out, maybe have deeper conversations on some of this, we would love to speak with you. So Morgan, that's what I have right now, unless you have any questions along the way.
You know, I just wanted to kind of touch on something real quick, because historically direct mail has been, you know, one of the highest yielding response rate channels in the political campaign space. It's been one of the most effective channels, and it's utilized and known to really work in the space. And you know, we were talking a little bit before the webinar about how, you know, I was curious about the amount of political mail that's gone through the mail stream, you know, this year as opposed to previous election years. And you were touching on the fact that your numbers are even up from just the 2020 presidential election. I was just curious, I mean, why do you think that is? Is it because, you know, mail is just such a trusted source, especially considering, you know, everything that's gone on politically and with digital ads? Why do you think mail is being utilized even more so than before?
You know, I think a lot of it has to do with the down ballot races or the local races. If you think about, you know, the Senate, congressional races, they pretty much buy up all of the TV ads or a lot of the visual ads, if you will, and it doesn't leave, you know, a down ballot campaign that much of an opportunity. to compete for those dollars in this case. But because people are so actively involved now at the local level, direct mail is a great way to target that audience. Again, all you need is 51+% of the voters. So if you know who that audience is and want to persuade them, mail is really the only channel that can 100% target who you want to reach. And again, I'm not dissuading using the other channels, but I think because of how actively engaged people are now in politics, they're seeing what a difference mail can make in these campaigns. And again, I use, my school board races have never paid attention to those before, and I couldn't help but pay attention. Another interesting thing for me is there were 2 runoff races that I would have never known they had gone into runoff until I received a direct mail piece. So my school board election did go into runoff, and I'm like, oh, I had no idea. But that was the channel that broke through the clutter for me. And I think that the candidates are seeing that.
Absolutely. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And it's fantastic because, it's also a channel that works for all demographics as well, whether it's millennials, or whatever it might be. It's a trusted source, and you're able to get that tangible piece into the hand of that prospective voter and make that impression, right? And so there's a lot to be said for utilizing the direct mail as that activation point in your political campaigns. But what do we know about marketing? Well, we know that marketing requires repetition, right? We have to nurture that prospect or that voter, especially in campaigning, because information changes so rapidly and there's so much mudslinging, and you might have a prospective voter drawn in and they might be swayed. And so we really have to nurture them all the way up until election day, right? And so it doesn't matter what kind of marketing you're doing, repetition is the key to success. And statistically, we know about 80% of sales are made between the 8th and the 12th contact. We need to touch them multiple times. And with political mailing, the vote is the sale that we're trying to accomplish. And all of that data that we're seeing from the white paper that was put together, why do we think that integrating digital helps increase that responsiveness or the effectiveness of the mail? Well, because it also ties into how people respond to marketing, right? So if I receive a direct mail piece, it reaches me in my home, I have that tangible piece, it's a trusted source, and I'm interested in learning more about that political candidate, I'm going to go online. I'm going to start doing my research, right? And so this is where we really get an opportunity to nurture that voter all the way up to election day by utilizing digital channels to reinforce that message that started with the mail. It's like the direct mail starts the party and we keep it going with that digital enhancement. And then of course, I definitely strongly encourage the utilization of the repetition of mail in itself, right? And so like I was saying at the beginning of the webinar, this is our expertise. We build out marketing platforms that are comprised of different suites of marketing technology, whether that be tracking or digital marketing technology, that are specifically geared towards enhancing the direct mail. And so our product that is geared towards political campaigns is something that we call Political Power Up. And not only does it utilize repetition in marketing, but it utilizes an omni-channel marketing approach, which is also a very integral piece to successful marketing actions, because in today's time and space, people are immersed with so many different marketing messages through so many different channels, and it's overwhelming. So when we can deliver a streamlined, seamless omni-channel marketing experience that starts with direct mail as the activation point, and then utilize digital channels to repeat that same cyclical messaging, we are really able to drive a very high response. We've been able to effectively deploy very successful political campaigns. And, the other thing that we have to consider in the political campaign space is that, you're essentially building a relationship with the voter and the candidate, right? And so, you have to nurture that voter. It starts with the mail, and, then you have to continue to build that relationship through the utilization of those other channels. And so with Political Power Up, we have a suite of technologies where we seamlessly track the direct mail campaign, but we also engage that voter and continue to nurture them and build that relationship with them up till election day. So, it's very important to note that this product is not a replacement for your current digital marketing strategy. Most people are utilizing digital marketing. A very high profile candidate, of course, they're doing digital marketing, right? Some of the lower ballot candidates, maybe not, right? Like you touched on there, Jim. And so an all-encompassing, turnkey product like Political Power Up is perfect for them. They're utilizing mail, and you can add on a 9 technology platform for just a few pennies per mail piece and take advantage of 9 digital technologies. Now, for higher profile candidates that are utilizing digital marketing, are you utilizing an omni-channel marketing strategy? Do you have the perfect mix of technologies that we know is tried and true and is truly going to enhance the mail to drive that experience for the voter? So our product is utilizing these 9 technologies. We are experts in this space. We also integrate all of our technology into our proprietary business analytics system so that we can help drive maximum response. But it's that perfect mix of these different technologies that's really helping to enhance the mail and really drive that message home that you activated with that tangible direct mail piece. So a little bit about these technologies. The first one is something we call social match. We are going to take your mailing list, and we actually find the Facebook and Instagram accounts of the people on your mailing list, and we start serving up ads to them just before they get the mail. So we're warming them up to that mail piece, right? Then they get that mail piece in their mailbox, and we continue to engage them through their Facebook and Instagram news feeds. So this is a great way to enhance the mail and deliver that cyclical messaging and really create that familiarity with the candidate and whatever that marketing message is that's going out on the mail. Tracking is super important, right? We're investing a significant amount of money into our direct mail campaigns. And so we can give you peace of mind that what you're paying for is actually being delivered. You can see very granularly each individual direct mail piece, the date it was mailed, and the date it was delivered. We actually integrate via API right with USPS informed visibility, so we can pull the mail tracking data right from USPS, and we can report it in a dashboard that you can log into, and you can track, and you can actually see when your mail is projected to be delivered and the confirmation of delivery. This can also help you more appropriately time other marketing channels, right? So maybe you're running an email campaign. You can more appropriately time an email to hit an inbox when the mail is hitting the mailbox. So taking advantage of some of this data that we're providing in these campaigns is beneficial at improving your other channels that you might be using as well. Informed delivery. So this is provided by the United States Postal Service prior to, again, receiving the mail piece. Now, not only will you get impressions through Facebook and Instagram to the prospective voter, but anybody signed up for this service, in the morning, they get an email, or they might use a mobile app, and it shows them a grayscale image, or you can use a replacement color image, but it shows them all the mail they're going to have in their mailbox later that day. And people are very responsive to this. I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but I open mine every single day. I'm just obsessed with what's going to be in my mailbox at the end of the day. But the statistical data on this is really astounding. On average, achieving somewhere around a 65% open rate on the informed delivery email. So your chances of getting that additional impression are so strong. So that we can also embed a full color clickable ad right underneath the scan of the mail. This is giving them an opportunity now to respond to an offline channel, which is that tangible mail, online. Right? They can click on the ad and they can go right over to the candidate's page. They can learn more about this candidate and continue that journey with them. Another very beneficial aspect of utilizing our our political power up product is that it includes informed delivery, which is also eligible for 4% postage discounts. This starts in August and it runs through December. So, there's been a few, there's been postage increase. There's another one coming in July. So taking advantage of helping to get additional impressions, which will not only increase the response to your mail and that engagement, but you can also take advantage of postage savings. So another tracking feature that we have is either call or text tracking. So this would be where you can have a call to action on your mail piece to call a telephone number to acquire more information, or even to text a phone number to receive something in return. So, text vote Gomez to this number to receive something in return, right? Maybe that's a link to your campaign funding page so that they can contribute to your campaign. Maybe it's a link to your website to learn more about the candidate, or something that's piggybacking on that direct mail piece, a link to your campaign schedule, whatever it might be, right? But utilizing things like call tracking or helping to show response to mail. And things like text are very important because it aligns with the way that people prefer to respond to marketing, right? I can very easily pull out my cell phone and text something and then have access to it on my mobile device at any time I want. And the utilization of QR codes is very beneficial as well. It's something that we also have access to in our dashboard. We can thank COVID for the resurgence of QR codes. Restaurant menus, so many different things we're utilizing QR codes, and that will also help to drive a response to the mail because people are knowledgeable about pulling out their phone and scanning a QR code and going right to a website or wherever you'd like them to go. Now, typically in political campaigning, drilling into the data of who's actually responding to your campaigns is very valuable information to the campaign manager. So whenever someone calls in or they text in the dashboard, you're able to actually see the telephone number of who called in, who they are, their name, their address, the type of phone line that they're calling in from. We can record the calls and you can export all of this data if you wanted to upload it into a CRM or utilize it in your future campaign efforts. Okay. So social media follow-up. When people are responding and they're going online, we now have an opportunity to retarget them on channels that they are on frequently, right? So everybody's on social media, they're on their Facebook, they're on their Instagram. And the best thing about a campaign like Political Power Up is that, yes, we are utilizing digital channels, but this is mail centric, right? We're not taking over any digital marketing. We want you to keep running all of your digital marketing efforts because they are beneficial and they do drive results. What we want to do is help enhance your direct mail campaign. And we want to repeat that same message that's going out on your direct mail campaign. So when you start your campaign with that trusted, tangible direct mail piece, and you are re-communicating that message that was delivered on that direct mail piece, you're reinforcing that, right? So it's also going to trigger that familiarity in that prospective voter's mind. Here's this candidate again. Here's this candidate again. Oh, that's right. They're reinforcing this messaging that drew my interest in the first place. And you're continuing that journey all the way up till election day. We also have an opportunity to target and deliver that same message that's going out on the direct mail and enhance the direct mail through district targeting. Now, voting districts run a little wanky. We don't necessarily want to just target certain cities or states. So we can actually target specific voting district codes. And we can also target specifically for age or gender, and you have an opportunity now to deliver the message that's going out in the mail in the same geolocations as you were delivering the mail and enhance the direct mail recipients through the Google Display Network. Okay. We also have found it to be very valuable to be able to enhance the mail through the Discovery Ads platform. Now, this one is a 3-for-1 approach, and on the campaigns that we were running in the primaries, we were driving astronomical engagement on these channels. The first thing that you get through Discovery Ads are Gmail, right? So in the Gmail feed under the promotions tab, it will be an email that looks like it's coming from the political candidate. When they open it, it's an email from the candidate, and they have an opportunity to click through on those ads. Additionally, ads are displayed on the YouTube homepage and then also on the Discovery toolbar. So Discovery toolbar, some people that I speak with are familiar with it, some aren't. It's only on your mobile device, so you have to be on your mobile device and also logged into your Gmail account. And if you go to google.com, they're the ads that appear below the Google toolbar, right? They're typically based on your interest, but this is where we can also display ads to the direct mail recipients and other prospective voters. So, the other good thing about running these political power-up campaigns is that we also get to cast a much wider net here digitally and not only enhance the direct mail recipients, but also deliver and start to create that relationship with your direct mail messaging to a much broader audience, right? So in the same voting district codes, maybe you only have a certain amount of budget for your direct mail campaign. And we do have an opportunity here to market digitally to a much larger audience in addition to enhancing the direct mail recipients. YouTube ads are huge. So, harnessing the power of YouTube in any type of marketing campaign, especially political, is very powerful. For one, it's the second largest search platform on the web. And the other thing about it is that we're harnessing the power of video. So people, we typically get about, I would say, around a 1.84% response rate on video as opposed to around a 0.007 on a still ad. So anytime we can use video, it's very beneficial at driving a higher response. And you can use video in the social channels on these campaigns as well. And it does not have to be some really fancy, very expensive, highly produced video. People do really well with a human element, especially in political campaigning, because you are developing that relationship, right? So the candidate can just pull out their cell phone and record a short selfie video, talking to the prospective voters about what it is they want to accomplish, right? And one thing that is very important too is to make sure that they start talking about themselves, who they are, and why they should be voted for first, because people do skip these ads. So if you start out talking about how terrible your opponent is, that may be bad press for them, but it's the only thing they see, right? It's talking about the opponent. So, now, last but not least is our lead match technology. Now, lead match is a very intuitive technology that really gives you the ability to tap into other interested voters. This is a technology that will give you a pixel that can be placed on your website, and you have an opportunity to identify who they are and acquire 95% accurate contact information about them. So primarily a residential address. Now, this is helping to build a mailing list of people that are interested in that candidate. This is helping you to more efficiently utilize your future marketing dollars to mail to the people that are showing an interest, right? Maybe they're on the fence, right? So they're on the website. They're trying to gather more information about why they should show up to the polls and vote for this candidate. While reaching them again with mail to reinforce that message is very important. So, in our political campaigns, it starts with mail, but it also ends with mail, right? Because the political mail, like Jim was speaking about, and all that statistical data from their white paper is showing that the mail helps reinforce those other channels, right? So, maybe you are running other digital marketing, right? Everybody that's responding to your digital marketing is going to your website, right? So they're not all reaching into you or asking questions. And this is giving you an opportunity to identify who they are and reinforce your messaging with mail. Now, the interesting thing about this technology is that after we identify these unique website visitors, we also have an opportunity to instantly match back to the mailing list, so we can show you the direct mail recipients that actually responded and went to the website as well, right? So tracking is very important. You know, in our platform, we have a few different technologies that can help you to effectively track the mail, but we also provide access to a dashboard, a really intuitive dashboard in real time. You have access to at your fingertips, log in and see the results of your campaigns. If you're a partner of ours or you're considering becoming a partner and you want to provide these technologies to your clients, you would have access to this dashboard and the opportunity to track the results of the campaign. You can see how your marketing dollars are working. What kind of impressions am I getting? What's the engagement? You know, things in the political campaign space change very rapidly. You know, if you notice that something's not working, you can change the ad, right? So having access to all of that data at your fingertips, the ability to export reports and analyze that and continuously improve your marketing efforts going forward is very valuable. People love the dashboard. So a little bit about, you know, the power of adding the political power product onto a mail campaign. So, you know, digital marketing is something that is utilized in political campaigns, but when we look at the engagement rates that we were able to deliver through one of these campaigns that we ran through the primaries, we were achieving astronomical click-through rates for some of these technologies, much higher than we traditionally would see on a standalone digital marketing campaign. And that's because we're utilizing an omni-channel marketing solution that's employing everything that works in marketing, right? It's utilizing that tangible direct mail piece, the enhancement through the digital, repetition, and the delivery of an omni-channel display, right? They were also able to capture a new mailing list of website visitors and prospective voters that they were able to, at the very last minute, deliver a direct mail piece to as well. Now, again, this isn't just for very large, high profile political candidates. This was a case study for a really small election that we ran, a down ballot candidate. There was only 1 month left. They were an underdog and they mailed 14,000 postcards, but we enhanced it with our political power product. And he won by the hair on his chinny chin chin with 17 votes, but he attributes it to the digital integration. You know, he had that additional push above and beyond just the mail. Right. And so it can get down to the wire sometimes. And, you know, why this works so well for him as well, too, is, you know, when you have a minimal marketing budget, but you're able to add a 9 technology platform onto your direct mail campaign for just a few pennies per mail piece, you're harnessing everything that works in marketing very inexpensively, you know. So political candidates, you know, they've been in this game a while. You know, they're not new to marketing and what works in marketing. They're probably utilizing digital marketing, but this is providing them with a streamlined platform that's tried and true, is known to work, and they have the opportunity here to take advantage of these 9 technologies that we know will enhance the mail, while they keep running everything that works on their digital campaigns, because again, that's not something that we want to take over at all. So we are experts in this space. We watch very closely all the different trends that are occurring with the digital marketing aspect of our campaigns. Luckily, we didn't have any type of shutdowns or anything yet with the primaries. You have to be a little bit more tactful, I shall say, when it comes to what you're marketing in the digital space. You really can kind of put anything you want on a direct mail piece. For the most part, it's very hard to get something flagged in that regard, but there are some ad restrictions in the digital space or things that are sensitive, but of course we can coach and guide you. We can also help coach and guide your clients. We know what will work, what won't work, and we can help get creative and help you deliver the message you want to deliver tactfully so that the campaign can keep running. These campaigns are time sensitive, right? It's been my experience that it's a very instant, last minute turn and burn type of scenario. So we are running a digital campaign. There is some preparation here. So we do have to get codes on the website. For Facebook accounts, there actually has to be an approval and identification of the Facebook account owners. They actually have to receive in the mail a PIN that they go in and log in and identify themselves as the Facebook owner. But once the first campaign's set up, that's it. You just upload a mailing list and change out the ads if you want, and it's seamless and ready to go. And you can even start one of these campaigns after it mails. So if you feel like, gosh, I'll never be able to meet this time frame because the turnaround time is so quick, we can start these campaigns, 2, 3, 4 days after it mails, a week after it mails. We very successfully make that happen all the time. Now, one thing that you might miss out on, and this actually occurs very frequently, is the informed delivery piece, because USPS requires us to upload the informed delivery by 12:59 p.m. the day prior to the mail date. If we don't meet that cutoff time, the mailing will go out without the informed delivery, but the majority of the candidates are okay with that. If they miss out on informed delivery and they know that they may not meet that cutoff time, that's okay too. So, right. So that's all that I had for today. If you're interested in learning more, there are so many resources available on that Deliver the Win website. So I could go in there and scour all of those resources. There's so many resources for any of our partners or prospective partners on the call to put together marketing materials that you can provide to your political mail clients or to prospect for, or anybody on our webinar today that is deploying your own political mail campaigns. I strongly encourage you to tap into that. There's so much information, or reach out to Jim personally. Jim, isn't there a contact portion on that Deliver the Win website too, where they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, and it's the link that says, if you want to speak to a USPS political consultant,
right,
that would reach my team.
Yeah, he has a whole team of people that are ready to help you with your political mail campaigns. So a really great resource to tap into. If you're interested in learning more about Direct Mail 2.0 or Political Power Product, you can reach us at sales@dm20.com. You can also go to our website at dm20.tech. So, Brad, were you able to engage everybody with all the questions?
Actually, well, thank you very much, Morgan and Jim. That was fantastic. I was fielding questions because I figured we'd be running short for time. We always will finish on time. One of the first and most frequent questions is always, will there be a recording of this? Yes, there will. Give us 24 to 48 hours. We will send that to everyone who registered, and you can then review this at your leisure. There was a question about postage discounts that was covered by you, Morgan, so thank you. There was another question about getting a copy of this deck that will also be included. Someone asked about a rebrandable one. We could make that available if you are a reseller partner. Otherwise, you're welcome to do what you want with the deck we send you. I mean, I'm not going to chase you down for using our collateral here, but we're not going to rebrand it for you unless you're a partner. That's a privilege of licensing. Another question that somebody asked, and maybe Morgan can expound on this, someone had asked on the 80% of closes happen between the 8th and the 12th contact, the source for that. And I got to say, I've been using that for a long time. Where did that come from?
I honestly do not remember the top of my head, but I have it on my stat sheet. Who was it that asked? I can send it to them. Do you know?
Let's just send it to everybody. I'll have to go through the questions.
Okay, you got it.
And the biggest thing that I know that no one specifically asked this, but let's say I'm a mail service provider, or I'm a digital agency or ad agency, and I want to get into this gold rush of political advertising or political mail. And I'll put this to both you and Jim to answer about 60 seconds each. how do I get into this world? If I want to start contacting these candidates and getting some of this business and providing these solutions, where do I start?
Sure. Jim, do you have any resources?
Well, certainly if you go each state at the Secretary of State's website, they'll have a list of the candidates that, have passed their requirements to be on the ballot or those lists. So, I mean, again, if you're only interested in local ones, county ones, those type things, I would go to that list. And again, you could certainly reach out to us from a political mail insight. And the business partners on this call are so valuable. I mean, we're not going to take it and produce it for you. We understand how important it is, to have solutions like Direct Mail 2.0 and, being able to bring all those pieces to the table.
Sure.
So from our side, our website, but also the Secretary of State website.
Excellent. Yeah. Morgan, you've got some ideas on this too, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's information. It's basically primarily, through establishing relationships. You have to go to marketing events. You have to really get your foot in the door with these campaign managers. Most of the time, they're going to do business with someone they know, someone that's referred, someone that they like. But there is always a ton of information on any of the government pages. There's a lot of information on USA.gov. You can find current elections coming up in your area. The US Vote Foundation.org has a ton of information, but it's mainly at your government agencies that you're going to find contact information that you're going to have to grassroots reach out to unless you get yourself immersed in some of these groups where you can start networking, right?
Let me add to that in the last 30 seconds. If you're involved in your community, it's undoubtedly that you've been asked to attend a political dinner, fundraiser, gathering, meetup. Go and make some friends. Introduce yourself to the campaign managers or the strategists. They come to all these events, and eventually you will make contacts. And guess what? When they're looking for someone, your name is now top of mind. So go to those events, go to those rallies.
Sure. Right. Yep.
All right, well, to keep with our time limit, I'm going to wrap it up. If there's any last comments or questions, you're free to email the sales at DM20 or call the number below. But again, thank you so much for your time and attention, and we will get this out to you within the next 24 to 48 hours, all right? Take care, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jim.
So long.
Thank you.